Hey, what up, barbecue family? It's your boy Joe Mill here, back with Killer Miller Q, and today it's bright and early. We're gonna be knocking out a little bit of breakfast. We're gonna be putting together a nice country breakfast. I found some pretty pork steaks. I know you're gonna like this. I'm firing up the Weber today. Whole thing's going in the skillet. Come on, let's go. So you saw the magic, and now we starting back in that ground zero. Check out these old pork steaks as we kind of get into this old country breakfast that we're gonna knock out today on this Weber. Some beautiful marbling on these. I saw these and had to grab them. Tossed them in the old freezer after vacuum sealing them. But I think these is gonna go nice addition, or these will be a nice addition on today's breakfast. Beautiful looking marbling on there. These aren't super thick, but they got a little bit of size to them. But I'm sure they're gonna cook up nice. They will not take too long. I thought about doing these on the griddle, but I want to get a little bit of live fire on there. So today we're gonna keep these real simple. All I did was take a second to get these cleaned up a little bit, and then patted dry. I'm gonna be hitting them on both sides with a little bit of that Bearded Butcher's Cajun seasoning. We'll be using that all throughout today on this breakfast, and I think we're gonna be all right. Let me hit these real quick. I'm gonna let these hang out. We got a small little bit to prep while this pit is coming up to temp, and we're gonna get this thing knocked out. All right, you check out that Bearded Butcher's. Got a nice flavor on that Cajun rub. I did use that back when I was in Ohio on some chicken. A little windy out here. Hopefully I don't get blown away, but my seasoning should stick pretty well. But, there we go. That's what that looks like. So we're gonna let that hang out while the fire is still coming up to temp. We got a little bit of prep. We're gonna move over a couple little potatoes, nothing too crazy. Just about the size of my palm or something like that, nothing too crazy. These will end up making more than enough if you got like a small family. I mean, definitely you can add as much as you like. Other than that, I got me a couple green onions. I'm gonna be adding those in. I'm basically gonna be chopping those down. The white parts up to maybe about right there are gonna be going in the actual potatoes, and I'm gonna be saving the tops to kind of finish off with a little bit of garnish. Let's get the chop work going. First things first, we'll take the skin off. We'll chop these into some basic cubes, nothing too crazy. Make whatever size you like. So as you can see, I got a decent amount of coals on. Kind of got it more or less all on one side, but I do got a little bit spread over on purpose because we'll be moving some things around in here today. I'm gonna start with my skillet right over more or less the majority of those coals. And all I did was spray it with a little bit of Pam. I'm gonna let it start to get warm, throw this top back on. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab ourselves about three, there we go, a little bit of flame down there. We'll get ourselves about 3 pieces of bacon, and that's how we're gonna start this thing off. All right, so we got the bacon going on first. I ended up chopping this bacon into small little chunks. You can do whatever size you like. Keep in mind that it's gonna get smaller as you cook it. I know that's probably a little loud. Try not to bang it up too much. I got lots of smoke, so hopefully you're not getting too smoked out. I got some old grease burning down there at the bottom. But basically what we're doing right now is I'm gonna need some of this bacon later. But really what I want is what you see accumulating right over there in them corners. Some of this bacon grease to get these potatoes started. So I'm gonna cook these to the point where they're nice and soft. Keep them moving. You see this thing is super hot. And then I'll get them up off of here. And that's about good right there. Keep in mind, these babies keep on cooking once you get them up off of there, so I want to get them off a little early while I still got a little bit of that stability, and I got a decent amount of oil in there for these potatoes. Alright, so I grabbed those potatoes, got them over there into that bacon grease. Now you see why we did a little bit of bacon first. That's also going to be some topping for us later. Try to chop these up to around the same size so they'll cook around the same time, whatever size you want. Then I got some of them green onions. This is the more or less the white part, or the more oniony part that was at the bottom. We're gonna add some of those in there. Always kind of like a little bit different flavor it's getting. And then just like we said earlier, we're gonna stick with this Bearded Butcher's Cajun seasoning. We'll get a little bit of that in there. Pardon my reach. Start there. And then we get these things tossed around and see how everything come out. I like using this old wooden spoon. Move them around, man, it smells good. Real quick, real quick, little country breakfast. Nothing crazy. You might be camping, you might be at the house and don't want to warm up the house. Power might be out, who knows? We'll do this thing real quick right outside and get on back in there and chill out. And let these hang out now that I kind of got them mixed together. And then I'll bring you back when we got a little bit of color, and then we'll flip them. All right, it's probably been a good 3 minutes. Had to come back over here and check on them. Keep in mind, yeah, there we go, we browning already. Keep in mind, this is way hotter, you know what I mean, than you think probably. So at the end of the day, they probably won't take that long compared to like what it is when you're usually on the stove and everything. You see I'm already getting some good browning. Like I said, maybe I probably was going about 3-4 minutes or something like that. But let them roll on this side for a little bit and come back and do the same thing. It smells great out here. Okay, next operation. You see these babies is still chilling. They have sweated out beautifully. Took them in the crib and now just bringing them back out. So they ready to rock. That Cajun seasoning smells good. It smells even better on the potatoes. You about to go see live action. We about to basically slide those potatoes over. Let's go check on them. Depending on how you like yours done, I like a little crispness. I've learned to kind of be nice when I'm lifting that hood. I'm so used to lifting that Lone Star hood. I be yanking that thing off of there and getting all my ashes on my food sometimes. So being a little bit nicer with it. I like getting me a nice little char. So these is almost there. Now you get a little tedious depending on how you really want them to be at the very end. They're getting really nice. That's exactly about where I want them to be. Let's get a taste on one of these smaller ones. Okay, that's breaking apart. Nice. Smack in your ear a little bit. You know how we do it. I ain't no real cook if I don't taste the food, right? You'll hit that with a little more seasoning. And that's how you know. And those is plumping up real nice. You can see that char, that nice little crisp on there. But they getting nice and pulpy. That's nice. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to slide these over. And let's grab them pork steaks and get them right over this fire. We're going to leave this thing open and finish this off. All right, check that. I'm closing this thing down almost about. I still got to do eggs too. I've been lost all my little bit of heat. Move these around a little bit. Let them get a little bit more crisp. And now we're going to get these. Again, these is thin. Maybe 2 minutes on each side. 2 minutes, we'll come back. We'll check it out. We'll probably be damn near ready to pull them. All right, it's been more or less about 5-6 minutes now. Bear with me. Okay. Hey, man, you know I do all of this one-handed. I've gotten better cooking one-handed than maybe with both of these things. This is what I did. Came back after a couple minutes. They wasn't quite ready. Move these potatoes around just like I'm finna do now. These is probably about to come up off of here, but I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do this so that they don't get all soft and squishy and they can stay out here and be warm, because they got a decent crispness, but we still gotta make some eggs and I need this pan. And we'll get back to them. But I did come back after 2 minutes and check the underneath just to make sure that they wasn't burning. And then I did spin them all around in a 180. So you can see that the edges are starting to get a little whiter. Let you know that they've cooked. We're going to flip these babies over and I'm move this one over here. And then we'll work on the other side. I'll show you what we're going to do to keep these warm. And these coming right back on the pit. I was basically about to wrap them up with a little bit of aluminum foil and let them breathe like a little onion. And then we'll get the other side of these going. Get our eggs out here. Finish this thing up and get us a good breakfast taste. Hey team, I want to jump in here real quick and let you know thanks for following along on today's cook. If you're new to the channel, go to that bottom right corner. Make sure that you check out the rest of the channel. Subscribe. Follow all the videos you've missed. And for everybody else, I appreciate y'all. We're going to keep this thing going. Check out my link tree if you haven't. Follow me on some of those other social sites. And back to the work. Yeah, check out that color we got on these things. Smelling good, looking good. So about maybe 5 minutes on this side gave me this right here. So this is what I'm going to do. Now, y'all tell me in the comments if y'all heard. I know I got a lot of pit masters that holler at me on this thing. Supposedly, the shiny side is what reflects the light, which makes a hell of a lot of sense to me, being a science guy. So we're going to do the shiny side coming forward. I'm basically going to sit those in there, roll those up in a nice little onion ball. They're going to sit over here kind of more or less on this indirect side, stay warm, keep getting a little bit more crisp as we finish this up. Give me my pan back. We coming back out with them eggs. Almost home. Almost home. All right, man, I'm not level necessarily on this ground, so you can see all my eggs somewhat running to the side, so I ain't gonna be able to make them nice pretty daddies like you might like. And we got these. I wanted to slide over more to the indirect side, couple coals over there. Now you see why I left a few, so it's still gonna be getting warm. Still got my potatoes hanging out. They're nice and open, so they still breathing, so they don't get all soggy on me. And all we're gonna do to these eggs, they're in the same pan. I gave it a light wipe out so they didn't get too dirty. We're gonna hit them with a little bit of this Bearded Butcher's Cajun. Once again, I tell you what, tasting this, you know, I only had this on chicken, but tasting this on those potatoes, that was fire. This is definitely one that I think is gonna get added into my breakfast routine for sure. And I feel like it says it right on there that there we go, eggs, french fries, so potatoes and eggs. Yeah, it works well with that. So we're gonna definitely try that again. So I'm gonna hit these eggs with a little bit of that Cajun. We're gonna let them hang out. Got that hanging out. We almost ready. We're gonna put our country skillet together and we can get up out of here. Yes, it's only been a couple minutes. It smells amazing out here. Let's ease this top off. Look at that, juicy. See them pockets of moisture over there? Now, this is why we do what we do the way we do it, baby. Put them couple coals over there. That thing's still over there cooking. Keep in mind, your pork only needs to go to 145. So after getting this one side nice and seared, getting the other side a little seared up, it really just comes down to what you like as far as how far you want to take it, so it's not too dried out. But as you can see, we're gonna be okay with this right here. These eggs is looking beautiful. You see I got a little bit of that Bearded Butcher's on there. Now again, comes down to what you like, how far you like your eggs. You know, you well done, or you just a person that likes the sunny side up and the drippy egg. You go for what you like. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna take the second to separate these babies with my spatula to kind of break them off into individual eggs. We're gonna flip these things over, and I think I'll give them a nice little toasting. Or you know what I will do? My wifey likes the wet ones, man, and I can't do it. So I'm gonna flip me a couple over so mine can be a little bit more done, and I'll leave her with a couple that's nice and juicy. It's been a couple minutes. They've been chilling face down. Hit them with just a little bit more of that Bearded Butcher seasoning. You see my pork steak over here? Let me get out the light. Get up in there. Get up in there. Beautiful color. Beautiful smell. I'm impressed with this Bearded Butcher's Cajun. Like I said, it's second time using this. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna finish out these potatoes, put together this skillet, and your boy about to smash. Yes, smelling good, happy. I'm about to finish this thing out. The last thing that we gotta do is I add a little bit of that bacon that we started off with. You can add as much as little or as little as you like into them potatoes. They're still crisping up, so move them around every once in a while. And then we're gonna finish it off with a little bit of this cheese. Today I'm using a little bit of this triple cheddar, which I think will be a nice little addition. I might even, should I put some on the eggs? I'll be nice today. Even though it's the weekend, give it to me on my potatoes, and we tasting. Yes, there we go. Melted that cheese, threw that top back on there. Obviously, you know, the eggs is ready to rock. Pork steak looking beautiful, still looking nice and juicy, as you can see. I done let this hang out as long as it's gonna hold. It's time to slice into this thing, and I'll give you my review on everything in just a sec. All right, just got us a nice little slice. Nice and pretty, still nice and juicy. As you can see, all of that stuff glistening on here. Let's give it a taste. Nice and hot. Should have threw that in there too. You know, I try not to be too heavy-handed. Let me switch to my right. We'll try not to be too heavy-handed with that Bearded Butcher's on that thin pork steak. Came out about right. Taste of that charcoal remind me of some good old ribs. Give me a little potatoes, a little bit of that, a little bit of eggs. Yeah. Woo, them potatoes hot. Together, that's a medley made for heaven, baby. Let me tell you something. Love this Cajun on breakfast. I think I might have definitely found something we can play with for the breakfast days instead of just the salt, pepper, garlic, or whatever have you. It tastes amazing on those potatoes. It tastes solid on this pork steak, especially with that charcoal finish. Got me thinking about an old school ribs or old cookout like my dad would do. And then it's great on these eggs as well. I'm about to dive in. We'll recap it. We'll get you up out of here.
Hey, that's a wrap. I'm stuffed. That was a great breakfast. Skillet came out just the way I wanted it to. Big shout out to my guys over there with Bearded Butcher. This Cajun rub, like I said, the second time getting a chance to use it. Had rolled some whole chickens back when I was in Ohio. This time, it took care of our whole breakfast. Put it on the eggs, put it on the potatoes, put it on that pork steak. Really like them potatoes. Forgot that I had cut up some garnish of those green onions, those tips. We supposed to put some of that on top, make it nice and pretty, but man, by the time we got to smell it all that, it was looking so good. We went ahead, ran through it. I came back in there and seen them sitting on the table. So not a big deal, really just for aesthetics. But overall, breakfast came out phenomenal. Those pork steaks were great. That Bearded Butcher, light on both sides, was the good move. Other than that, I was able to really taste that pork. Almost reminded me of like a rib coming off the old charcoal grill from back in the day. So I enjoyed that. Like I said, my potatoes was the one, getting in that bacon grease to start, then finishing them off with a little bit of that 3 cheese cheddar and a little bit of that extra bacon that we had already kind of made up. That came out fire. My eggs was good. Overall, I'm happy. Quick cook. A little something easy over there on the Weber. Maybe took us roughly about an hour. One thing that I meant to tell you along the way, this kind of one of those maintenance and features. What I like to do is to kind of make sure I don't overuse too much of my charcoal and everything. I give me a nice little bit set. I keep it going. And then as I'm going through the fire along the way, when I'm doing those check-ins, I'll slide in 1 or 2 coals down that side hole and just let them kind of go in there and kind of keep the party going. That way it never completely burns out. But with that said, I'm never actually adding a full another chimney of charcoal. And that way I used to, back in the day, put way too much charcoal in there and end up with my whole thing as like Dante's Inferno. Way too hot and wonder why I was overcooking my food too quick and everything. So now I take it slow and easy. Usually I stick to that 2-zone method, but you saw we kind of scattered a little bit, but you saw why we did that. But overall, everything came out the way we wanted to. Looking forward to next week's cook. Make sure you tune in. Other than that, shout out to the family. Shout out to Black Smoke Barbecue. And for you checking it out, I appreciate y'all. Peace.